your last name,
S-H-E-L-L-E-Y. So, the first thing to correct you, we're not a democracy. We're a representative republic. A democracy gets the mob to rule. We elect representatives to go to the state capitol and represent us. If our representatives don't represent us, then we replace them with someone who will. A couple of things to know, and I hope everyone here realizes it. There is nothing that any of us in here is going to say to get them to pull this off the ballot. What we need to do is make sure that our neighbors, everyone that we come in contact, understands really what this is about. This is, and if you don't know what ESG is, you need to know what ESG is, because this is the beginning portion of ESG. And Utah is a prime target to start ESG because of our diversity in the state. So just understand that. Get to your neighbors, get to people who know, or you can talk to and explain that to them. So we have all driven into Salt Lake. Salt Lake is a smoggy or foggy, smoky, stinky place. I just want to tell you the target of carbon dioxide is so wrong, because as you learn in elementary school, carbon dioxide is colorless and odorless. So you don't see carbon dioxide, yet it's the one that gets the blame, because carbon dioxide is the one.
10 seconds, please.
Keep going.
Keep going.
The carbon dioxide is the one gas that that everything emits. Not one of us in here has a right to breathe if we don't own our own trees. Because when I'm breathing now, carbon dioxide is being emitted.
Time's up, please.
And every single industry creates carbon dioxide, and so it is a way to control the carbon dioxide. Your tax starts at $12 a ton. It goes to $14, $15 within 5 years, and it will strangle the coal industries, who already pay property tax on their gross revenue. None of us pay property tax on our gross revenue. We pay property tax on the value of our property. Coal industries, oil and gas, pay property tax on their gross revenue in addition to all of their equipment that they have. It's just a very unfair way of doing it. I know we're not going to change your mind, but we need to let people know, the dangers of what this is proposing. There's a reason that it has failed 5 years in a row. Thanks.
What's your name, sir?
Kinda.
He donated his time. Number 26.
Shane Lotterill?
Cottrell. Look at that beautiful baby right there. That's what we're trying to save. We're made of carbon. Carbon emissions grows our food. Okay? This is a war on us.
Yes.
Okay?
Amen.
Guys like you, please stay up on your spike protein death shots. Okay? Please. Okay? Please. Please. That was meant to kill us too. Yesterday, I walked outside to a beautiful day, and I saw 8 planes in the sky. 8 planes in the sky. Dusting us with what? Oh, conspiracy, isn't it? Have you ever studied HAARP, Mr. Bauman? There's a reason why Seattle's a hellhole. Okay? There's a reason why California is a hellhole. Okay? It's because of shit like this.
Give me a little more space, please.
Okay? It's because of shit like this. go back to Seattle, okay, and do your comedy, okay, because it's the producers in the world, the producers in the world
1 minute, please.
that are getting jabbed, okay. Where does that money come from? People who produce, okay, and if you're so funny, then you earn revenue and you get taxed by it. You don't get your pockets lined by Soros. Okay? You don't get your pockets lined by Soros. Okay? Stay up on your spike protein death shots, please. 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 Go away. Go away. Leave us the hell alone. Rigged elections, shit in our air, shit in our water.
10 seconds, please.
Okay? Enough. Okay, it's time to take this. And then they're going to come, what? Take our freedoms away to protect ourselves. Yeah. Wake up.
Thank you.
Marty Palmer.
Thank you.
My name is Marty Palmer, Juab County Commissioner, just fairly elected.
I'm sorry, what was your?
Juab County Commissioner.
Yes.
I don't think this is our problem. They're making it sound like it's our problem. It's a problem up north. As you guys can see, we're all against this bullshit, okay? Juab County Commissioners are totally against this all the way. I don't think you should come here from someplace else and tell us you want to make these changes. If you don't like it here, go back to wherever you come from. We like it here. We like our livelihood. And I don't think you should be coming here trying to change this. There's a reason why this law hasn't passed for like the last 4 years. That's because we don't want it. That's why it hasn't passed. And you're trying to schedule these meetings in the morning when nobody knows about it, okay? Instead of having them at night like that other feller said. I just changed the county commissioner meetings at 7 o'clock at night, so one a month, so people could come when they're not working. People are out working right now and they can't come to this meeting. And this room is full and the hall's full. They can't even get in here.
1 minute, sir.
Okay. Anyway, I think you should go back where you come from because you don't like it here. So go back where you come from. We like it here. We're totally against this. Thank you.
Jeff McDonald.
One thing I'll suggest, again, as an idea for you to share with your state legislators, there was no option to have these meetings on Zoom, but if we had the meetings on Zoom, it would be much easier to have them in the evening and allow more people to attend.
You could have a Zoom
All right.
meeting and
Excuse me, my name is Jeff McDonald. I'm a business owner in Mount Pleasant. I'm a citizen. I've been on city councils in Mount Pleasant. I'm currently a state delegate, and I just kind of want to, coming here was kind of, I was a little bit worried of how this was going to work out. I didn't know if anybody would come, just like everyone has said. It's in the morning, a different period of time, but it's kind of neat to see. I can see that most everybody here is against this. And I showed up thinking that I was probably going to be here by myself. So this is way impressive to see so many people here knowing that they're against this thing. And I just want to reiterate what this gentleman said and Troy has said, that the best way to go about this, because obviously they are trying and they're not going to give up to implement this, is to get a hold of your representatives of your area, make sure they know that you're against this, make sure that if they do get their signatures, that we can vote against it and make sure that it doesn't pass. That's the best thing that we can do. The other thing I wanted to bring out quickly was, I don't know how many of you know this, maybe most of you do, but our budget this year that was released for the state of Utah has a $3.3 billion excess, or in other words, it is extra money. Surplus is what they call it. We have had a surplus in this state, the majority of this state.
1 minute,
We have
please.
never seen $3.3 billion in surplus, ever. That's huge in telling us that we don't need any more taxes. We don't need anything else implemented on sales tax, on food tax. In other words, it already needs to be cut. The food tax needs to be cut already. Sales tax should be cut. Our town of Mount Pleasant just barely passed another sales tax increase, following in line what everybody else has done. They should be cut. There's no need for any more, and especially don't need it on anything that is needless. So I just want to reiterate, keep an eye on this thing. It's really neat to see so many people here. I really appreciate that. It's awesome. I'm glad so many people are being a part of this, and get a hold of your representatives. Obviously, they have turned this down in the past already.
10 seconds, please.
Hasn't gone out of committee to go in to be voted on. Let's not let it get there. Thank you very much.
Ben Butler?
Ben Butler from Manti. I just recently moved down from the Wasatch Front and like my freedoms that I have down there and want to keep those. I remember burn days in the 80s. They had those red burn days in the 80s up there, and you know, it's just a part of the way the weather comes across and gets against those mountains. They probably had red burn days when the Indians were here. I don't know, but it just seems like we want to do something, try to buy our way out of a problem that's just going to be there. I mean, you can't spend enough money to change the weather on the Wasatch Front. It's just the way it is. In looking at your notes on here, it says, you know, the first year, approximately $243 million in taxes. Then the next year it goes up to $569 million. It just keeps going and keeps going. When is it ever enough for our government? I mean, Biden said, oh, there's no new taxes on anybody under $400,000. I'm sorry, inflation is a tax on all of us, and this is just another tax. This is just more crap that's being shoved down our throat. You know, we talk about fossil fuel and, oh, there's not enough. If you look at the studies, there's plenty of fossil fuels. There's way for us to get it cleaner, burn it cleaner, but the developing nations are the only ones that will ever pay this kind of carbon tax. China, the developed nations will pay this. The developing nations won't. Like China, they're a developing nation. India, they're a developing nation. They'll never see this kind of tax. It all comes out of our pockets as Americans, and it's a bunch of crap. So, legislature, please don't let this ever happen to us, and that's about all I got. Thanks.
Megan Butler?
I'll just note while the next speaker is coming up, so the fiscal note goes up from the numbers that you said, in part because the first year the policy proposed to start January 1st, so it's half of the first fiscal year. So then it's double that basically for the second fiscal year, if that makes sense.
So it sucks from the get-go.
I'm just trying to explain why it goes up.
For clarifying.
Go ahead.
My name's Megan Butler, and I was a teacher until last year I retired, or I quit. While I was at my school, Copper Hills High, they would have groups come in and speak to the students. And within my department, there was a young man who brought in a group called Protect Our Winters, and they brought a bunch of skiers, extreme skiers that would do flips and things. And then right in the middle of that meeting, they had the kids, pull out your cell phones. Everybody get our app. So I looked what they were sending to the kids on this app. And it was Democratic sign up for vote stuff. It was like 90% vote, sign up as a Democrat to vote. It was, in my opinion, shady. And the guy who had them come actually agreed with me that he felt uncomfortable at that moment, that there are these groups that are coming into areas trying to brainwash our kids to believe in a certain type of thing, that this is cool, we need to stop these carbon taxes to protect our winters because we're skiers in the snow and it will ruin the snow. And I don't know exactly all their whole mission, but it was divisive, and it was tricky. It was inappropriate to do in high school setting where there's 16-year-olds.
1 minute, please.
have to say is there's a book called President Makers that talks about how the United Nations needed to pay it for itself. And so it decided that, you know, how to fund it was that they were gonna come up with this entity, basically it ended up being now in 1995, 1996, climate change agenda. The climate change agenda is inappropriate, and it is a way for the elite people like that gathered in Davos for $250,000 a ticket to carouse with themselves. And it is inappropriate that they would be telling us how to live our lives, when in fact, I bet none of them
10 seconds, please.
paid the $250,000. A guy who wrote in the All In podcast said that he was invited 10, 20 years ago, or 15 years ago to that event, and it was $40,000. Thank you, Lynn.